Two developments from the US, and both conclusively prove that rogue and compromised American politicians have mortgaged the independence of their country to a settler colony built on the stolen land of Palestinians. This should alarm you if you happen to live in the US and pay taxes there. Your corrupt politicians have turned your country into a slave nation, slave at the hands of genocidal maniacs and pedophiles from Israel. This also proves just how barbaric your public representatives have become, and they are no longer pretending about their support for child killers and pedophiles. This must alarm you if you have children in your family. Not that you expected much from a president who himself is facing allegations of pedophilia, but his brazen support to protect an Israeli criminal arrested for being a pedophile is nothing less than shocking, even by Trump's own standards. Let's look at these two chilling developments in detail. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department recently arrested at least 8 pedophiles after they were caught luring children online for sex. They were of multiple ethnic backgrounds. One of them was Tom Artyom Alexandrovich from Israel. But he was no ordinary Israeli national. His LinkedIn profile said that he was the executive director of the Israeli Cyber Directorate, which is a government agency that operates directly under the office of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. Pedophile Israeli cybersecurity head Tom Alexandrovich was apprehended and faced felony charges of luring a child with computer for sex act. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department released a full statement later and outlined how it conducted its undercover operation with the help of various other agencies to arrest these pedophiles, including terrorist Netanyahu's associate. The statement read, and I quote, "The Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children (ICAC) joint operation included detectives and agents from the ICAC Task Force and the FBI's Child Exploitation Task Force, to include the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Federal Bureau of Investigation, North Las Vegas Police Department, Henderson Police Department, Homeland Security Investigation, and the Nevada Attorney General's Office, who participated in organizing and conducting the operation in Henderson, Nevada." Those arrested were David Wanacott Yankee, 40, Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38, Jose Alberto Perez Torres, 35, Aniket Burjesh Kumar Sadani, 23, James Ramon Reddick, 23, Ramon Manuel Parra Valenzuela, 29, Neil Harrison Creasy, 46, and John Charles Duncan, 49. They all faced felony charges of luring a child with computer for sex act and were booked into the Henderson Detention Center, with the exception of Duncan, who was booked into the Clark County Detention Center. End quote. Pedophile Alexandrovich was in Las Vegas to attend a top global summit on cybersecurity. Whilst in Las Vegas, he even posted a photo of himself on LinkedIn. He has now deleted his LinkedIn profile. Once the news of the arrest of this pedophile from war criminal Netanyahu's office became public, the Trump administration swung into action to use all its power to get him out of the US. Trump was apparently under immense pressure from both Netanyahu and the Israeli lobby in the US to act swiftly. Within hours, this pedophile was on board a flight to Tel Aviv. He was released from custody on a $10,000 bail after an initial court appearance. He is now back in Israel, safe after attempting to violate American children. This is the power of the settler colony. Dear Americans, your compromised politicians have turned you into slaves whose children have no dignity as long as the perpetrators are Israelis. They would not face any consequences, as this episode shows. This episode also shows that the US has two sets of criminal justice system. One that applies to US nationals and another that applies to Israeli nationals exclusively. If this doesn't shame Americans in general, I wonder what will. I don't think this is the first time that Israelis have violated the US law with impunity. I can think of countless such instances. Not too long ago, a group of Orthodox Jews were found to be carrying out suspicious activities in an underground cell in New York when authorities discovered blood-stained mattresses. Did they face any force of law? No. Israeli newspaper Haaretz once called the settler colony a safe haven for pedophiles. Its headline read, and I quote, "Israel becoming a refuge for pedophiles, warns advocate for child sex abuse victims." End quote. This just explains why this rogue settler colony hates children, including those living in Gaza. This now makes perfect sense why Israeli terrorists and their depraved supporters in the US and the West justify the murder of tens of thousands of children in Gaza. Last week, a close friend of Trump single-handedly made the US State Department stop its scheme to allow injured Gaza children to be treated in the US. Her name is Laura Loomer, who describes herself as a proud Jewess. I haven't followed this woman, but when I looked at her social media profile, she came across as a truly filthy, disgusting creature. No wonder she supports Israel. She shared a video of children coming from Gaza, apparently arriving into the US, on social media, as she wrote, and I quote, "Despite the US saying we are not accepting Palestinian refugees into the United States under the Trump administration, I have obtained video footage of Palestinians who claim to be refugees from Gaza coming into the United States via San Francisco and Houston, Texas this month. The Palestinians traveled from Gaza to the US with the help of a group called Heal Palestine. How did Palestinians get visas under the Trump administration to get into the United States? Did State Department approve this? How did they get out of Gaza? Is Secretary Marco Rubio, aware of this? Who from the State Department is assisting Heal Palestine? Why are any Islamic invaders coming into the US under the Trump administration?" End quote. Within minutes, the US State Department, run by this thug called Marco Rubio, announced this, and I quote, "All visitor visas for individuals from Gaza are being stopped while we conduct a full and thorough review of the process and procedures used to issue a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas in recent days." End quote. So a disgusting creature, a racist, an Islamophobe, tweets a video of Palestinian children seeking desperate medical help, and the entire US administration swings into action to ban future entry of such children. Why? Because a proud Israeli Jewess doesn't approve this action. And why are these Palestinian children in the US? Because Israeli terrorists have first harmed these children and then destroyed every single hospital in Gaza by using American bombs. Now you know why I addressed this filthy character called Marco Rubio a thug. And he's not alone. The entire political class in the US, with an exception of a selected few, have been taken over by these filthy, disgusting thugs. No wonder Trump was recently showering praises on this evil woman called Laura Loomer.
It's very nice. I mean, I know she's known as a radical right, but I think Laura Loomer is a very nice person. I've known her for a long time. And, personally, I think she's a patriot. And she gets excited because of the fact that she's a patriot. And she doesn't like things going on that she thinks are bad for the country. I like her.
A small minority of US politicians, such as Marjorie Taylor Greene, have started to speak publicly against the Israeli occupation of the US.
I did want to get your reaction to comments from Lindsey Graham recently. He gave a speech where he said that if the United States pulled the plug on Israel, God would pull the plug on the United States. Is that your understanding of Scripture and how God thinks about geopolitics?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is like such a fake Christian doctrine. As a matter of fact, Jesus says that he is the way to God. He is the door. He is the way to heaven. He clearly states that in the Gospel of John. And it's said over and over in the New Testament. We don't go to heaven by how much money we pay Israel and how many of their Israel's wars that we fight and how many people are murdered as a result of it, and how many children are starved, and how many innocent people, whether Palestinian, Christian, or children, are blown to pieces while Israel is basically committing genocide in Gaza. That's not the way to heaven. So I don't think I'll be taking Lindsey Graham's advice on that. And I think many Americans are fed up with it and they're seeing through it. You know, here's one thing: we can support our ally Israel, but at the same time, we do not have to bow down to this false gospel and this doctrine, which I would call a deception that has been just taught and basically hammered into many American Christians, good-hearted Christians, people that want to do the right thing. So, you know, I was furious when I saw that. And this has to stop, Matt. People are waking up to it, and I know they're sick and tired of it.
But is that enough? As long as corrupt and criminal politicians such as Trump, Rubio, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and others keep getting elected to rule the US, there is absolutely no chance America would become great again. The US is rapidly heading towards slavery instead of the much promised greatness. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.